The ruling party's candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is trailing the main opposition candidate, John Dramani Mahama, in the race for the 2024 presidential elections in the latest Global Info Analytics survey. The polls indicated that John Dramani Mahama is leading in 55 out of the 82 constituencies polled, while Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia leads in 26.
Whilst Nana Kwame Bediako would manage 2.3%, with others securing 1% respectively. Using weighted polling data, John Mahama surges ahead with nearly 56%, whilst Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia would secure 34%. The polls show that among first-time voters, John Dramani Mahama leads Dr. Bawumia with 52% to 33%, and among non-first-time voters, John Mahama leads again with 56% to 35%. In a twist at the regional level, John Mahama now leads in the Northeast region with 58%, with Dr. Bawumia securing 26%. Dr. Bawumia has now regained the lead in the Ashanti region with 54%, whilst John Dramani Mahama would secure 31%. Dr. Bawumia also made a significant recovery in the Central region, a critical and must-win region for the NPP in the 2024 election. However, he still trails John Mahama with 45% to 51%. The polls also shows a disturbing outlook for the ruling government as the opposition leader extends his lead in the three critical swing regions.
Now joining us via phone for an interview on the back of this is the Nana Kumia communications member of the New Patriotic Party and also a leading member of the Bawumia campaign team. Nana, thank you so much for your time. You're welcome. Good afternoon to you. Hello, Nana.
Hello.
Right, Nana. I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Right. I hope you're doing well. So, firstly, let me find out, how is the campaign of Dr. Bawumia going?
Well, we are in the process of finalizing our campaign plan. We'll be finalizing it soon. And as soon as it is finalized and validated, that means getting other stakeholders to buy into it, we will launch it and get going. But in the meantime, Dr. Bawumia himself is doing meetings with various focal groups, various interest groups, as I'm sure you have reported on. But we're finalizing the campaign plan very soon, and then we'll have a master plan to go with.
Right. So the latest that we have on our table is Global Info Analytics coming out with this latest poll, putting Mahama in the lead within 50 constituencies, with Dr. Bawumia trailing behind with 26 constituencies. Is this something that you would want to put on your table and consider?
Well, every credible political organization like the NPP and also the NDC, we have our own internal polling that we do on a regular basis. And that internal polling, which we trust very much, informs us about how we are doing on the ground. But beyond that, if there is some other polling that says that we are doing well, it would encourage us to do better. There's other polling that says we are not doing well, it will still encourage us to do better. So I don't have the details of this analytics that you are talking about. But whatever it is, if it says that we are trailing behind John Mahama, fair enough. It will encourage us to, take steps. And so we are not fazed at all by polls. Whatever the polls say, if we are ahead, it means that we are the people to beat. So we must double up so that the people behind you do not catch up. If it says that we are behind, it means that we have to catch up, and we'll still double our steps. That's our attitude to polls.
So I mean, for the purpose of records, I've forwarded it to you so that you can have access to it when we're done. So it means right. So it means you're going to consider all the findings in this poll and see where you can sip the loopholes, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly what we'll do. Even if the polls say that we are ahead, we will look at the factors that puts us ahead and improve on those factors. If it says that we are behind, we will look at the factors that make them say that we are behind and improve on those factors. So that really is a general attitude to poll. But like I said, we have our own internal polling that we trust, and that is the polling that really makes sense.
But in your own assessment on the ground, what are some of the things that you, by your own internal polling, you've picked that may negatively affect Dr. Bawumia's campaign and eventually affect his results in the 2024 elections?
Well, the connection is briefly, but if I understood you, of course we have our weaknesses. Some of the weaknesses that we have to confront with is that we would suffer from the disadvantages that the current economic situation would bring. We know that we are seen as the incumbent party, and so we suffer from the current economic difficulties. We know that the economic difficulties or the economic situation will be lifted soon as we go along, implement the IMF program, do other things to redress the difficulties, the city interest, inflation, so on. I'm confident that the situation will improve soon, and that will then inure to our benefit. Right. But having said that, we also have a strong point in that our candidate, no matter what you say or how you see, our candidate has never been president. He's a new quantity. He's a new kid on the block. Whereas our opponent is a very known quantity. He's been president before, for 4.5 years. His performance was nothing to write about, and it was rejected by the Ghanaian electorate when he was sitting president, and also rejected again for the second time. And so we have a strong point in that we have a new candidate whose record is not known, and so whose promise is something that we believe Ghanaians would buy into, as against our opponent, whose record is known, and whose record really has been nothing to write about.
Right, Nana Kumia, grateful for making time with us here on Newsbeat. And Nana Kumia is actually the managing director for STC and also a leading communications director for the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaign team. Now, that is an interview on the back of the Global Info Analytics, that the latest poll that's come out from that organization, putting Mahama in the lead with 50 constituencies, with Dr. Bawumia following with about 26, and the rest also following with a few of those constituencies. Let's now get into the biggest opposition that must be jubilating or may be jubilating over the latest polls now. Mustafa Bande is the Deputy General Secretary for the National Democratic Congress, NDC. Mustafa, thank you so much for your time. You're welcome. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon for having me.
Is the projection meeting your internal polls?
Yeah, thank you very much, and good afternoon to our cherished listeners. Indeed, you don't need a second guess to know that the NDC has worked, and of course, it is true that the government have failed, but the party as NDC have become attractive to the ordinary Ghanaian, and it's very evident that the past track record of the NDC is something that Ghanaians can lean on in terms of difficulties. And currently, as we speak, the government of His Excellency Akufo-Addo is only a source of disturbance, worry, and hardship on the people of this country. And of course, we are not surprised that that report is the way it is. However, the party's victory will come out of our resolve at the grassroots level, just as we performed in the immediately past assembly election. We want to remarkably ensure that it reflects in the 2024 polls, regardless any attempt to sort of shortchange or steal or rig the results. Indeed, when the victory is of a higher margin, you cannot manipulate. And we know with the work ongoing, a commitment of the flag bearer himself, a commitment of the leadership, the General Secretary and the National Chairman, coupled with other colleague executives across the country, and the commitment of floating voters, the people whose banks have been collapsed, the people whose businesses have been collapsed, the people who are affected by the high-rated corruption precipitated by President Akufo-Addo and his vice president, the people who relied on the words and promises of President Akufo-Addo only to find out that it was a scam. All these people, with their commitment, we know that we'll get something close to the same results at the polls at the end of December 7th. So we are not in doubt of what the report is saying. It also doesn't mean that we'll go to sleep and hoping that the elections have been won. The MPP have told everyone in this country they are willing to rig. And so I would want to declare that with a shred of imagination of rigging the election will be resisted with vigilance, will be resisted with the commitment of Ghanaians, particularly at the time Ghanaians are going to vote, carrying their mattresses and will sleep at the polling stations to ensure that their votes have not been stolen. We know that victory will belong to the NDC come December 7th.
The NPP haven't spoken to Nana Akufo-Addo has indicated that even if the polls put them first, they were still going to look at the polls, the findings, and the details of what got them into that position. How can NDC supporters trust you? Because, I mean, we've seen what happened in the past elections, and complacency seemed to have led NDC into where it is today. What shows that polls of this nature is still not going to bring back that same complacency you attached in the previous elections?
The MPP is in this mess because they have never accepted any natural reality. Because even when Ghanaians are complaining, they continue to tout that we are in heaven. Even when people are dying, they continue to say that they are healing people. Even when businesses are collapsed, they are still saying that they are creating businesses, and they've never accepted any reality. And so I am not surprised that they wouldn't just accept that they should start preparing to exit. I know most of their ministers have given up. Most of their parties.
Are your winning chances based on the NPP's failures?
Of course, it's going to be part of it, because what wins the people of Ghana's heart is their ability to work. It is clear. Even MPP functionaries have given up. They know that they are losing the election. The rank and file of the party of MPP have given up. Their own ministers are doing everything to pack their bag and baggages. That is why they are not working. They are looking for money to exit. And so, coupled with all of these things, and the suffering Ghanaians who do not want to continue with what we find ourselves in, will definitely vote against incompetence and vote against corruption. And that is what Mahmoud Bawumia and His Excellency Akufo-Addo represent. They represent corruption and incompetence. They represent everything that brought hardship on the people of Ghana. The ordinary Ghanaian will vote against these things.
Right. Mustafa Bonde, Deputy General Secretary for the NDC, thank you for your time.